evening, everyone. I wish it were possible for me and the other leaders of our Forward in Faith campaign to speak to you personally tonight, but with our congregation meeting in more than 30 homes this week, it seemed that a video presentation was the best way to communicate with you. First Pres is a wonderfully vital congregation. We are growing. By the grace of God, we are growing in numbers, but more importantly, we're growing in faith and mission. We're a congregation with a great heritage, one of the first Presbyterian churches in Michigan, the first congregation of any kind in Ann Arbor. For 170 years, generations of Christians have lived out their faith in First Presbyterian Church. We are heirs of a legacy of mission, and we are heirs to this beautiful church facility. Our parents' generation, that of our grandparents, in some cases our great-grandparents, made personal sacrifices to build the older portion of our building during the Great Depression years of the 1930s. A generation later, in the baby boom of the 1950s, their children, again at great sacrifice, added a superb Christian education facility we call the Kaisinga Wing. Today, a generation or two later, it falls to us, their children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren in the faith, to move forward in faith as they did in their time. As heirs of a mission heritage, as heirs of a magnificent but aging church building, we are presented today with three kinds of challenges, each one of which has its place in this stewardship effort. First, both portions of the existing building, one 60 years old, the other 40 years old, are aging, and both are in need of a level of repair beyond the reach of our annual budget. For the last decade, the Sessions Property Committee has worked hard to identify these needs. It's a long list. It includes everything from deteriorating plumbing, electrical and heating systems, uninsulated windows, stonework, flooring, furnishings, and non-compliance with fire safety and handicap access codes. It also includes a concern the Worship Committee has long had over the condition of the great Moeller organ in the nave. A second, and a perhaps even more exciting level of need, grows out of the reality that our building, designed for the way the church lived its life in the 30s and in the 50s, now presents us at the dawn of the next century with real limitations as a space to carry out God's work. We are growing. Ann Arbor is growing. This space challenge is true not only for existing programs, it will be even more sharply true for programs in the future. In a growing number of ministry areas, we are finding that inadequate space is limiting our ability to reach out and serve all in our community who wish to be a part of the life of this church. For example, there's little or no usable room for additional fellowship or adult education meetings on Sunday mornings. Many of our classrooms for younger church-school children are seriously overcrowded. There's no room to encourage additional middle-high youth to participate in the MIDS program. Space for our choir is frequently insufficient and allows for no future growth. There's no attractive and welcoming space for smaller groups of people to gather for worship. The third level of challenge before us is to take yet another step forward in our mission to the community, the nation, and the world. Mission has long had a special claim on First Presbyterian's understanding of itself. Mission programs over the years have worked to respond faithfully to Christ's call to serve others. A changing world beckons us to grow in mission just as we've grown in other ways. More than a year ago, the session appointed a feasibility study committee to carefully review the question of responding to these challenges with a special stewardship effort. That committee conducted a thorough review of our mission, our building needs, and the potential success of such an effort. A new mission statement was written. Every committee of the session was consulted. The congregation as a whole was consulted through questionnaires, personal interviews, and several open meetings. Based upon their work, the session unanimously voted that First Presbyterian Church immediately undertake a capital and mission fund campaign to raise up to $2.25 million so that this generation might meet the challenge before us. The next step was to pass the needs identified by these committees to architects. Ann Arbor Architects Collaborative was selected to develop plans to remodel and perhaps slightly expand the facility to meet these needs. Now, it's essential to remember that a church building is not an end in itself. Rather, it is essentially a tool for the church's mission of worship, education, fellowship, and service and outreach. The plans that the architects have developed are mission-driven. They're designed to respond to mission needs as fully as possible within our budget. At the same time, the wider mission committee has begun work to identify new mission endeavors that will be supported by the 10% tithe of the Forward in Faith campaign, a 10% that will go directly to mission projects. That mission component will include our pledge to the Ecumenical Center and International Residence Recent Expansion Project. ECIR is part of our